Hello and welcome to Bike India. I am Charan Karthik and this is a brand new Yezdi Adventure. Now, as you can probably tell, we've had a lot of fun mudding around with this at Pune's very own Pro Dirt Adventure Park. They have made some changes to the new adventure that includes the new paint scheme. There are 4 new colorways. Along with minor tweaks to the engine, it gets the same 334cc single cylinder, but the power and torque are delivered at different RPMs and the tune is a little bit different. The lower end has also been optimized to provide maximum power in the first 2-3 gears, which is pretty evident after we took a ride on this. The Yezdi Adventure's gearing is kind of perfect because the 4000 to 6500 RPM rev band is where you really want to stay within. And that is perfect for cruising because from 4 to 6 is where the bike will be hitting around 90 to 110, which is the optimum cruising for Indian highway standards. So touring can be easily carried out on this motorcycle. We did have a few issues with the bike, like the ignition taking too long and the engine taking too long to fire up. But that might be due to a fueling problem or an idling situation, which they might have to figure out at Yezdi. Other than that, I don't think there are any major complaints from the engine. It does not like to be revved. It is very happy within the 6500 RPM limit. The red line comes at around 8000, which gets pretty vocal and produces a lot of vibrations at the pegs, at the handlebars, and even a little bit on the petrol tank. Talking about the engine, we can't forget the transmission. It continues to get the 6-speed manual gearbox. The gears are a little bit notchy. It has a very mechanical feel to it. The clutch is very light. The action is very easy, and it's good for beginners because it's not a heavy clutch. It is perfect for touring. It is perfect for off-roading. The gear shift lever is very hard, which makes it a task to put it down and put it back up. It really hurts your feet sometimes if you're not wearing the proper gear. The new Adventure also gets a newly designed front frame, which is the crash guard, which is now lighter and more sleeker in look. It also gets a new central flow exhaust. Yezdi say they have done this to minimize the heat on the vehicle. So if you see here, we can also see there is a new bash plate or a sump guard which protects everything underneath. So when you go off-roading, you don't accidentally damage all of the engine components. The 334cc single cylinder motor is called the Alpha 2, that is the code name for the engine. It does the duty on the Java 350 as well, although it is called the Alpha 2T over there, which is more classic oriented. When you're off-roading, you don't need to upshift or you don't need to rev it out or downshift or anything. The present gear will do its work absolutely fine as long as you're in the first 3 gears and sending it. It also gets 3 different ABS modes, which is road, off-road and rain. We spend most of our time on off-road and it provided good feedback from the rear tires, proper lockup every time, every slide. The Yezdi Adventure continues to come with the double cradle frame, which is a little heavy, and of course adventure bikes are all heavy, but it really makes you feel the weight when you're pulling it around in slow speeds inside the city or in tarmac. It's not possible to take U-turns. 3-pointers are definitely a big no because that is a place where the Yezdi lacks a lot. We did not get a proper chance to put the Yezdi Adventure out on flat smooth surfaces or highways, but from what we've ridden and from what we've tested, the suspension and the ride quality seems to be a little bit bouncy. It is on the bouncier side. The rear is definitely stiffer than the front, but it still bounces around in minor potholes and speed breakers. It does not feel settled, which could have been better, I feel. The Yezdi Adventure competes with the KTM 250 Adventure and the Suzuki V-Strom SX. Both of the bikes are more road biased than this one. This is, as you can probably tell, a very off-road biased motorcycle. Braking hardware remains the same on the Adventure. Both the front and the rear discs are the same size, the same diameter. The bite is very good in the front, although it is not as good at the rear. I have a stature of 5'8" and my feet can easily access the ground. So the Adventure is not really a big bike, it is not a tall bike. It provides access to a lot of shorter riders as well. When you're off-roading, you're often found in this exact spot where you're standing up to get more traction and a little bit more control over the bike. So in that case, the fuel tank, the 15.5 liter fuel tank is a bit bulky, it's chunkier. And this panel right here intrudes with your calf, which makes gripping the bike a little bit of a difficult task. The Yezdi Adventure comes in 4 new colors and it is offered from Rs 2.10 lakh ex-showroom and goes up to 2.20 lakh ex-showroom. All the 4 colors are differently priced. If I were to put it, I would put the Yezdi Adventure at a 60-40 or even a 65-35 off-road bias. This is how good the motorcycle is off-road. It does not translate that performance onto the road, but you can't expect all the things from a motorcycle. It does the off-road part very well, but on-road it can be improved in certain areas like the ride quality, the suspension, and even the buzz that you feel on the handlebars after you cross 6,500 or around 7,000 RPM. For more content like this, like, share and subscribe to the Bike India YouTube channel.